Who among you will be the next Einstein?
The truly original idea. And it's the only way I will ever distinguish myself. It's the only way I will ever matter.
He saw the world.
Where's Nash? Out there, looking for his original idea.
In ways that no one could imagine.
Saya cek saldonya, kalau nggak salah saldonya itu 23.000 sisanya, dan saya mau beli susu harganya 36.000. Saya minta maaf sama istri saya, anak saya kasih teh hangat. Jualin semuanya, nggak punya pekerjaan, nggak punya bisnis, ya hidup susah lebih baik lah daripada saya harus hidup ada tapi ada utang. Kemudian 2013 itu Januari, Februari, Maret itu total omset 1,4 miliar.
Now, I am a profit maker, that's the term that I socialize. In my opinion, don't be an entrepreneur. Be a profit maker. Right, if we become entrepreneurs, we have to rent a place, must have assets, and so on. In essence, we must have a large enough capital to become an entrepreneur. Well, that's not me. And if you ask me, I don't have it all. All I have is the profit. So, we focus on the same profit. And that's what I teach to my friends who ask me for help. At this time, I lived in Salatiga, a small town in central Java, Indonesia. My stories was started in November 2012. And my debt at that time was around 400 million rupiah. Maybe for big entrepreneurs, the value for money is not too big a value, but for me, it is a very large amount of money. From that moment on, my wife and I felt that something was wrong with what was happening to us at that time. The problem is, it's not that we can't make money, but even though we are able to make money, it's always used up to pay off our debts. So it's like, if today we get money, it will be used up to pay debts to the bank. And if the next day we get more money, we pay it back to the bank. That was my condition at that time. And need to know that I have debts to 6 banks. So, in 1 month I have to try hard to get money, just to pay off bank loans, which are 6 banks. All the debts that I have are the result of an excessive lifestyle. At that time I had a pretty comfortable house, a pretty decent car, nice stuff, and so on. And at that time, I was one of the executives of a multi-level marketing company, which at that time I considered still had enough prospects to be used as a business field. So, in my life, November 2012 was the turning point of my life. Houses were sold, cars were sold, other assets were sold. Basically I sold everything just to cover my debts to the bank. And thanks God, I paid off my debts to the bank, which totaled 400 million rupiah within 30 days. Although, there are still other debts, but not debts to banks, but debts that are personal in nature. Such as debts to friends, family and so on, which until finally I was able to pay off all my debts for 2 months after I paid off all debts to the bank. Then after that, I only lived in a very simple rented house, very different from my previous house. And my operational vehicle? I just have a motorcycle. I bought the motorcycle from the remaining money from the sale of all my assets. The saddest experience for me at that time was when I couldn't afford to buy milk for my child. At that time, my child was only 1 year old. At that moment, my feelings were mixed. Between angry, sad, disappointed in myself. And at that moment, I finally couldn't help but cry. And at that moment, I came to the thought that what I've been chasing all this time, it's not important, because in the end, even I can't afford to buy a milk. In order to be understood by all. Here, I do not mention that debt is wrong. Because maybe, the fault is with myself. Maybe, I am not able to manage my debts. Until in the end, my condition became as it was at that time. That experience also ultimately inspired me to create an ebook entitled 30 Days Debt Free, and thanks God I got a positive response for that. And now, quite a lot of people come to me, and of course the people who have come whose condition is similar with me at that time. They are asking for my help to provide solutions for them, to be free from their debts. In short story, after I settled my debts to the bank, the following month, I tried to look for other business opportunities. That I started in late December 2012. And this is where the turning point of my story begins. Initially, I started by browsing the internet, looking for possible opportunities, until I finally found a product that saves vehicle fuel. With my background as a marketing, I intend to establish cooperation with manufacturers. At that time, I got the contact number of a vehicle fuel-saving product manufacturer located in Surabaya, Indonesia, where I found on the internet. Then, I tried to be brave by calling the contact number, and it was connected. After that, I tried to convey my intention, namely to establish cooperation to market their products. In short story, it turns out that the producers do not dare to give their products without payment. However, they give me permission to remarket their products, if I buy them product. So the bottom line is, if I want to market their product, then I have to buy it first. In my mind, I laughed a little, because this is similar to the profession I did before. Namely as an executive in a multi-level marketing business, where every new member must register. Then they can buy and market products. But the difference is, right now I don't have to register to get their products. Then, I also asked, what is the minimum amount so that I can buy these products at wholesale prices? And to be honest, at that time I didn't have much money. Because even to meet daily needs can only last for a few days, or maybe 1 to 2 weeks. Then the producer replied that in order to get their products at wholesale prices, I had to spend at least 4 million rupiah, probably around 40 to 50 US dollars. In my mind, I just laughed, because at that time, I don't have that much money. After that, because I didn't have that much money, I ended up buying only 1 bottle so I could study the product. In short story, the goods I ordered finally arrived at my hands. I tried to open and learn about this product. Until, finally I got a word, Atsiri oil, on the product label, so the main ingredient of the product I bought was that oil. In short story, after I learned about this oil, what are the benefits for your vehicle and so on. Then I looked for a manufacturer that produces these oils. And I found one of the producers located in Yogyakarta, Central Java, Indonesia. Then, after I found the contact number of the essential oil producer, I tried to contact him, and in short story, I made an appointment with them. Then I went to Yogyakarta to meet them. At that time I went by my motorcycle, and the time I took to get to the manufacturer's places took 2 or 3 hours on my motorcycle. Then after that, I bought Atsiri oils from the manufacturer at a price of 900,000 rupiah. With full of hope, optimism and the confidence I'm trying to rebuild, I went home with these items. The next day, after I got other needs, I started to reorganize my business. At that time, I packaged the Atsiri oil into several small bottles for resale. Even then, I made my own labels using the printer I had. Because of the assets I sold from my previous business, I left 1 printer and computer for sale. Then I printed the label. The name of my product at that time was Dexin 1. Then I cut it into pieces and put it on the small bottles, and then I sold it. At that time, I didn't think that what I was doing was to become a business, but more than just how to support myself and my family. In other words, all I do is just to find food for that day. At that time, I sold the item door to door. First, of course, I offered it to my close friends, family and people I know. And from the majority of people who buy my products, just because they feel sorry for me. You can probably imagine my condition at that time when compared to the condition before. Feeling sad, happy, funny, all there in those moments. A few days running? The money I get every day, it ranges from 50,000 to 100,000 rupiah, and as I recall it lasted for 2 to 3 weeks. Until one time, there was a friend of mine who tried to promote the product that I was selling to his friends, and thank God the product that I was selling was actually able to improve the performance of their vehicle. Most of them commented that after they used my product on their vehicle, the result was better engine performance. And from this stage, orders for the products that I sell began to increase and continue to increase. That's where my second phase began, whether this was fate or luck. In January 2013, I was able to achieve a sales turnover of up to 60 million rupiah from an initial capital of 900,000 rupiah. This is a miracle. You can all imagine how happy I was at that time. The profit I got was more than 65 times my capital. And in March 2013, my turnover reached 1.4 billion rupiah. If using US dollar, it was worth $116,500 at that time. Even though I have achieved a fairly large turnover, in that moment I still drive a motorbike, still live in a rented house, far from my former very consumptive lifestyle. And I have promised myself that I am now not going to be like I used to be, where there is no management in my lifestyle, which will eventually lead me to ruin. A few years later, I was finally able to produce in larger quantities, with a wider market. Now my product has become a legal and licensed item in the market, and I changed the name of my product to Klinos.